Hello learners, welcome to today's online class. Today I'm going to talk about writing paragraphs which is related to FEG2. FEG2 means Foundation Course in English 2. In my previous class I talked at length about how to write paragraphs, and just in continuation with my previous class or previous lecture, today's lecture also is kind of continuation of the previous class lecture, where I'll be talking about various aspects of paragraph writing. And today I'll be focusing essentially on some of the devices which are used in paragraph. So let me begin with just a recapitulation of what I did in the next class relating to paragraphs. While talking about the paragraph, which is considered to be the basic unit of organization, when you talk about composition writing, so paragraph is considered to be the unit of organization, writing composition. And in the previous class I talked about various elements of a good paragraph, where I talked about how there are basically four elements which really comprise, or which consist of, you can say, a paragraph, which really make it to be a good paragraph. And those four elements are, namely, first, the topic sentence. And I talked about what we mean by topic sentence. Topic sentence talks about the main theme, thematic consideration of a paragraph. So it's like it gives us information about the whole controlling idea of paragraph. So topic sentence is very important. And I talked about how topic sentence is used at three levels. It could be used in the beginning of the paragraph, it could be used in the middle of the paragraph, or it could also be used at the end of the paragraph. So that's how the topic sentence was explained in the last class. And then after having talked about topic sentence, I talked about the second element of a good paragraph, which was the development of the topic. And in the development of the topic, I talked about how we need to, once we decide the topic sentence, which gives us information about the thematic issue, thematic consideration of the paragraph, then we need to develop that topic sentence into a paragraph. So that's the second element, okay, development of the topic. The third element of a good paragraph is called to be, you can say, coherence. In other words, we can say connection between sentences. So coherence is a concept, notion which really sort of brings connection between the sentences, which really make a good paragraph. So it relates to connecting between the sentences. Okay, that's what coherence means. And then fourthly, I did talk briefly about use of transitional devices. So today what I'll be doing is session I'll be talking at length about the use of transitional devices. Okay, how we need to make use of transitional devices, because this is what really helps us to it helps us to bring coherence in the paragraph. And we need to make use of transitional devices, and to do that we need to have a good knowledge about transitional devices, what we understand by transitional devices and other functions of transitional devices. So when I talk about transitional devices, what do we mean by transitional devices? So the whole concept of transitional devices can be understood as a technique. Transitional devices can be called to be a technique which brings about coherence, okay, in a paragraph. When I say coherence, it brings connection between the sentences in a paragraph. And transitional devices is the use of various words and phrases, okay, between the sentences. And these are, you can say, words and phrases that really help a writer move very smoothly from one sentence to the next and show the logical relationship or the logical connection between the sentences. Okay, so that's why the role of transitional devices is very, very important and very significant with respect to writing a paragraph. Okay, so I'll be talking about it in at a very greater length, how we make use of these transitional devices, okay, one by one. Now, transitional devices are considered as signposts in a paragraph. And these are the words and phrases which really enable us to follow the writer's line of thoughts by showing as how one sentence relates to another. Okay, and words and phrases such as like firstly, secondly, thirdly, fourthly, I mean, they really give us like kind of reasons as to why we need to do something. Suppose you are giving reasons, or if you are I mean, enumerating something, then you can use these phrases. So firstly, secondly, these are the words which are called to be transitional devices. So most important of all is a kind of a phrase or word, or you can say idea unit, which really shows us that some reasons are more important than others. So that's why when we use most important of all, I mean there are many reasons, but most important of all those reasons is the one which we are going to explain. So we can use most important of all as a transitional device, okay, to give us extra information, okay, about how some reasons are far more important than others. Similarly, word such as to, two, it indicates that, I mean, there are other things also which are required apart from the two, so they are also important. Similarly, similarly word. Okay, there is a word similarly. Similarly, I mean, gives us, or gives us and talks us about relationship between two persons. Okay, so these are the transitional devices which are used. So words and phrases, when you talk about transitional devices, so it refers to words and phrases, which function as transitional devices, and which really, bring a kind of a connection between sentences. Okay. Now, if you want to express your result, how would you do that in a sentence, in a paragraph? So you can make use of phrases such as therefore, as a result, consequently, thus, hence. So these are the words which are used in a paragraph to express result. If you want to talk about, you can say result, so you can use these words, you can use therefore. So so therefore I want to do like this. That means you are talking about a result, or as a result this happened. So he went there as a result. Okay, I mean, he met with an accident. So I mean, you can give examples. What are the words or phrases which you would like to use for giving examples? You should be learning them. So transitional devices such as, for example, for instance, okay, these are the words which are used to give examples. If you want to give examples in a paragraph, then you can make use of these words. Make use of words such as, for example. Then you talk about what kind of example you are going to give. And then you can also make use of for instance. For instance also means that you are going to give example. So these are the words which are used as transitional devices. Similarly, if you want to express comparison, if you want to compare one thing to the other, okay, and two things together, then there are words and phrases which are used to express comparison. You want to compare one person with the other person, okay, so you can use words such as similarly or likewise, okay, to express a comparison. Okay, then suppose you want to express contrast. Contrast is means which you do not agree with, which is really, I mean, different from the other, from the thing which you're talking about. Okay, so there are, I mean, transitional devices which are used to express contrast. So to express contrast, words such as but, yet, however, still, nevertheless, on the other hand, these are the words which are used to express contrast. Let me give you an example. Suppose you agree with your, I mean, you can say with something. Suppose they are planning to, go for a picnic. Okay, so you are saying yes, I would like to go on a picnic. But there is something which you do not agree with. Then, however, I would like to come back by 2 o'clock, maybe you are having some work. So however you, that means you are expressing your contrast, okay, contrast, or something which other people may not agree with, or even you may not agree with that. So even contrast, expressing contrast. Then to express addition, if you want to add information to the sentence or to the paragraph, so how will you do that? So to indicate or to express addition, there are words or transitional devices which are used in a sentence or in a paragraph. So suppose you want to talk about, okay, well, we are talking about going on picnic. Okay, I would like to go on picnic. But moreover means, apart from this, I would also like to bring my family. So moreover means you want to add some more information to it. So there are words such as moreover, furthermore, also, to, besides, in addition. So these are the words which are used to express addition in a sentence or in a paragraph. Now if you want to indicate time and you want to talk about that in a paragraph, how will you do that? So there are again words and phrases such as now, later, meanwhile, since then, after that, before that time. So these are the words or phrases which are used to indicate time. If you want to talk about, suppose, present circumstances, then you can use the word now. Now I'd like to go. Okay. If you want to talk about, things which might happen later, then you can do later. I would like to go later. Okay. So like that, you can, to indicate time, you can use these words. Now to express sequence, what are the words which you would like to use in a sentence or in a paragraph? So to express sequence means a series. You can use, the words such as like first, second, third, fourth, next, finally. Okay, so these are the words which are used to express sequence. Okay, these are very, very important, Now, when you talk about a paragraph is considered to be a part of a composition. Okay, and there are, components of a composition or a paragraph. If you are composing something, okay, writer. So there are essentially three, components of a paragraph or maybe composition. So those three components are the beginning first, secondly the body, and third the conclusion. These three are major three components of a composition, or even it could be of a paragraph. So let me talk briefly about each of these components. Okay, beginning part and the body part and the conclusion part. Okay, and then I'll explain to you by giving examples as to how you can make use of transitional devices into the paragraph to expand your knowledge, in order to extend the paragraph, in order to bring connectivity to the paragraph, and simultaneously in order to expand the paragraph. So let me begin with the first component of a composition. Okay, so first component is obviously the beginning part of a composition. Okay, of maybe a paragraph, right? So when you talk about composition may be a big article also. Since I'm talking about paragraphs, so it's very important to also talk about composition, because composition consists of several paragraphs. And we talk about the first component, which is the beginning part. Beginning part refers to the introduction, the introductory paragraph, or it could be also known by the opening paragraph. Okay, so these three things are very, very important. So beginning could be known by the introduction, introductory paragraph, and opening paragraph. However, it's not necessary that the beginning part is related to one paragraph only. So beginning part could be one sentence or even a number of paragraphs also. So it depends on the topic and the length of the composition. What is the length of your article or composition? What is the length of your paragraph? Supposing you are writing a paragraph. So it depends on what kind of, how many paragraphs you're writing. If you're writing only one paragraph, then obviously the beginning part could be of 1-2 sentences. Okay, that's it, So it depends on the topic and the length of the composition. And one of the important aspects of the beginning part is that, you should be able to state the subject or the main idea of the composition. So where we talked about the topic sentence. So I mean, topic sentence happens to be the beginning part of a paragraph. I mean, it's the topic sentence which really gives us, kind of a, information about the main idea of the paragraph. Okay, main idea of the paragraph. Okay, controlling idea or theme of the paragraph. So this is very, very important. Now there are, devices which are used to, introduce paragraph or introduce your composition. Now we have to know what are those transitional devices, what are those idea units, or what are those phrases which are used to, introduce the topic. Okay, suppose you want to introduce the subject, then what are the phrases which you make use of in a paragraph? So you can start the sentence with like a phrase such as "it is often said," okay, or "it is often asserted," or "it is often claimed that," okay. You can even start with the sentence with words such as "the idea of this so and so," the concept of, the question of whether, dot. Okay, so this is how you can introduce the subject. So these are the units, okay, which do form a part of, transitional devices, to expand the sentence, to expand the paragraph. Okay, now how will you organize the ideas and your thoughts into a paragraph? There are again certain ways to do that. So in order to organize your ideas and your thoughts, you make use of certain phrases again. Let me give you examples. So phrases such as like, the first thing that needs to be done is this. That means you want to talk about that particular. So you're organizing your ideas, and then you are explaining a point. Then you can also start with a phrase such as, it is important to understand this point. So that means you are beginning by just organizing your ideas. Or you can also start with like, I would like to start with this, okay, or I will begin with, or I will start by saying this, so okay, or this essay or this project will begin by so and so. Or you can also start with like, I would like to outline this thing, okay, or let us look at this, let us begin, or let us start by this. So these are the phrases, okay, which do a part of, say, transitional devices, and these are the things which really help you to, bring connection as well as expand the paragraph. Okay, paragraph right here. So these are used in the introductory paragraph, the first component of the composition. Now the second component is the body part. First is, so I've already told you how to introduce the idea, how to organize the things, okay, in the first part, which is body, which is the introductory part, beginning part. Now the second part, or second, you can say element, or second component of, a paragraph or even composition, is the body part. And your opening paragraph, as you have known, that has already stated the topic sentence. It has already, aroused interest in you, or aroused curiosity in the readers. Now in the second part, what you've got to do is, that to develop the sentence topic, to develop the topic, and also to concentrate on the use of language to express your thoughts very, very accurately. Because that is really when, the reader would be able to, follow the flow of thought in your composition. So it's very, very important that you focus on the body part as well. Now how will you expand this body part? Again, I will talk about certain, you can say, number of transitional devices with the help of which you would like to expand your thoughts, expand your paragraph. Yeah, so you can, how will you build your, the body part? Obviously by building an argument. And how will you build an argument? Obviously by maybe introducing a topic, or by introducing a question, or even introducing paraphrasing. Okay, you can start again with, transitional devices, or making use of phrases such as, the main issue is this. That means you're talking about particular issue, or the issue at stake here is this, or it is worth mentioning that, or there is the argument that, or you have phrases such as, it is generally, or widely accepted. That means you are focusing, or concentrating on particular topic, so sort of you can see you're building an argument. Similarly, you can introduce a quotation as well. Okay, you can introduce a paraphrasing. Okay, like by if you want to do paraphrasing, then you can start with phrases such as according to so and so. I mean, this is correct. Okay, or in the words of Mr. So and so. I mean, this happens to be the correct thing. You can say this is how you introduce a paraphrasing. So by doing that, you are building an argument. Similarly, you can introduce examples, as I told you right in the beginning. To give examples, you can make use of words such as for example or for instance. Okay, to take another example. So these are the words which are used to introduce example. You may agree with certain aspects, certain ideas, certain perspectives, or you may disagree with them. So in order to agree with certain, you can say, perspectives, what are the words which you will make use of in a paragraph? So you can start by saying, I agree wholeheartedly with something so and so so. Or you can also start by saying it is quite right to say that so and so is true. It is hard to disagree with, or you can straight away say that I agree with whatever he or she has said. So these are the ways of expressing your agreement with the other perspectives. Okay. Now, in just opposition to agreement, there is disagreement. If you do not agree with other propositions or other perspective, how are you going to explain or express your disagreement? Obviously, by making use of phrases such as "I must disagree with," then you can talk about other things. Or I do not, share the view that this is so and so. Or I cannot agree with directly. You can say I do not agree with whatever you have said. So these are words, phrases which are used to express your disagreement. Okay. So these are ways to also develop your body part. Introduce a topic, introduce examples, talk about agreement. You agree with certain perspectives. If you do not agree, express your disagreement with those. And most importantly, also you need to introduce your own point of view, your own standpoint. How will you do that? By making use of words such as like in my opinion, and then dot dot dot, means that in my opinion you can give your own point of view. What is your point of view? Or there are other words, phrases such as like my personal opinion is that, then you can add other phrases to it. Okay. Or my own view is that, then dot dot, you can express your own view. Okay, whatever you use. Or in my view, okay, or from my point of view this is correct, or it is my belief that, or I feel that this should not be the case, or it seems to me that. Okay, so these are the phrases which are used to introduce your own point of view, and this is very must. Okay, while writing anything, write your paragraph, composition, anything, you have to give your own point of view. It doesn't apply only with writing composition, even with, like, supposing in the examination you are writing an answer. So obviously, while writing an answer, you should be knowing how you are going to express your own point of view. So therefore, the phrases which I am talking about are, very, very, important for you to understand, so that you may be able to express your point of view in writing, in paragraph. Then similarly, if you want to introduce counter argument, you do not agree with certain things. Okay, so there are again ways how will you do that. So you can make use of phrases such as another way of looking at this is this so and so, or the other side of this coin is so and so, or on the other hand. So these are the phrases which are used to expand the body part. I'm talking about the second component, okay, of a composition, which is the body part. You can also refer to data, and there are people, research scholars also, who make use of data in their research work. So to express their to express their data information, they can use phrases such as from the data, or from the diagram, from the graph. It can be seen that, okay, so and so has happened and so on. Or they can also say that, as you can see from a data chart, data diagram, that this so and so thing has happened, or these figures show that, you can say. Okay, so they make use of diagrams, words such as diagram, chart, data, okay, to show some information. Okay, data. So that is also used to expand the body part. Okay, then there are transitional markers also, which are used to expand the body part. Transitional markers means to just give us information about in a series. Suppose first, second, third, fourth. Okay, firstly, secondly, thirdly, first and foremost. Okay, so these are the transitional markers. And then you have addition markers also. If you want to add information to your paragraph, okay, apart from whatever you have written, then you can make use of phrases such as in addition, then comma, in addition to, okay, or furthermore, or moreover, what is more. So these are very, very informative, additional markers for all of you. So you must learn all this in order to express your additional markers. Or if you want to express your certainty, if you are certain with something. So how will you express certainty in a paragraph or in a composition? By making use of phrases such as like, it is certain that, or it is true that this has happened, or it is clear that, and then you can add. It can be observed that, then you can add your own point of view. It can be seen that, and again you can add your own point. There can be no doubt that, then after that you can add your own point of view. Then this is how you can, add other informations also to it, and so these are the things which are used, and similarly in the body part also you may like to make comparisons. I've already told you, about how to make comparisons. Okay, then you can use words such as in comparison with, or by comparison with. Okay, there is no difference between these and A and B. On contrast also, we can contrast. I've already talked about contrast earlier also. Now, if you want to express cause and effect, how will you express cause and effect in composition? So by making use of phrases as a result, consequence, therefore, consequently. So these are the words which are used. Okay. You can also make use of pronouns such as this, that, or these, those, which can be used to refer to any key noun of a last sentence of the previous paragraph, or words and phrases showing some logical relationships also can be used to link paragraphs. Okay. Some of the other expressions also, such as therefore, however, but, consequently, thus, so, even so, on the other hand, for instance, also can be used, in between the paragraph. Now you can also make use of certain signposts also, like topic sentences, or words or phrases or expressions which I've already talked about. Okay, paragraphing, indentation of quotations, these are also used as signposts to the readers. Now let me come to the third component of the composition of paragraph, which is the ending part. So what you have to focus on in this ending part is that you have to plan, you must plan your concluding paragraph. First and last impressions in any composition are very, very important. And these are the parts a reader really tends to remember, and it is these paragraphs that you should put all that you wish the reader to remember. You can make use of expressions such as impressions, ideas, suggestions, opinions, judgments, and also predictions, okay, in the end part. Now, how will you conclude the paragraph? It's a very, very important question, okay. So you can make use of, again, phrases such as to sum up, or to summarize, in a nutshell, or in brief, in short, or in conclusion, and then you can add your own point of view. These are things how you do. Okay, so the fact of the matter is that the ending, should sort of tie up and round off, or summarize the main ideas, and the substance of the concluding paragraph should recall for the reader all the main points of the composition. And also, moreover, the theme introduced in the opening paragraph should be repeated to convince the reader that you have proved your own point, and like descriptive or narrative, supposing you are making use of descriptive and narrative composition. So there what happens is that the end comes naturally at the end of the description or end of the narrative. And ending also can suggest a kind of a remedy or a course of action. An ending can also offer a value judgment. An ending should also strengthen the ideas presented in the composition. And then in the transitional devices also you make use of punctuation, the full stop particularly. You already know about the use of the full stop. Okay, you go through the paragraphs also in this unit. You'll find that the full stop is used to mark the end of a sentence. Okay, or as is the question mark or even exclamation mark. And you will also, I mean, find that a full stop is also used at the end or of the shortened form of a word. Okay, for example, if you're using name R Venkatraman, so after R you can put full stop. Or example EG, so after E and J you can full stop. Okay, and even after like AM, so after A and M you use full stop. So it's very quite common also to omit the full stops from capital initials, such as if you're using BBC, so you need not write full stop there. So BBC, UK, USA, or TV. So directly you can make use of these words. Okay. So these are the things which you need to keep in mind. So I think today's lecture must have helped you to understand the various components, okay, elements of paragraph, and most importantly the transitional devices. Okay, what are the transitional devices which are used to expand the paragraph, and particularly all three parts, three components of the, you can say, beginning part, body part, ending part. So please go through this unit number 1 of FEG 2 so that you get an idea of what a paragraph is. So that's it for today. Thank you very much.